I was double checking.
I just turned mine on. Now can you hear me?
Yes, they can. Thank you.
Plus we were getting,
Can you hear me, Brenda?
No. She doesn't want to hear you.
blended fuel from them out there too.
Do you want to hear me?
And that's good.
I want to hear you. Long before it's at $5 a gallon.
Have you seen the prices from California?
I didn't know, I thought California fell into the ocean.
It's well over $5 per gallon in price of California right now.
Let it wait a couple weeks before it does. I'll get back.
I told a gal that one time on the phone back a few years ago. I told her, oh, shipping van, that was a custom van, like a camper thing. I drove her all toward Peninsula. And they were going back to New Zealand or New England or wherever they were from, I don't know. And they were trying to figure out how to get all their stuff out west. So they were checking in the trucks and everything, well, they could buy my van and drive that out there. Well, I've never done that in my life, you know, for anybody, but, so anyway, long story short, they drove the damn thing out to California, just left it sit out there in on the street somewhere, and cops hauled it in, impounded it, they're calling me and saying, hey,
On
I
purpose.
said, I
anyway.
sold the van. Well, when did you sell it? Did you keep that card? I said, no. I said, I've never kept that card. Well, they didn't change the title or nothing over it. Registration. And I said, well, where's the van at? Well, I don't know. I said, you're calling me and you impounded it? You don't know where it's at? No, I don't know where it's at. I said, I'll tell you what. I said, why don't you just keep it? Because I said, I'm not coming to get it. I said, I've been paid for it.
Don't care.
I don't own it. I don't care. And I said, maybe if we're lucky someday, I said, maybe in California will just fall in the ocean. I won't have to worry about it. Oh, she got mad at me. Oh, she was mad.
Yeah, we go there on purpose.
When I worked in staff.
We are, but I've never been there before. We got friends of ours, her dad has a place there, and they're going there. by being a resident there for what I pay him for the business, he wouldn't have to pay income tax on
No,
it, but
that-
he still paid Minnesota income tax on
Oh,
it.
yeah.
Sandstorm. He did not like that, because he paid the rest of the car.
Oh, I bet that's sad.
They're from California. Like I said, we just had some friends that, they go there every year to her dad's place for like a week. And they invite us along with the kids. And my kids have never been to the ocean, so I figure one day we'll go over to San Diego and spend a night or two there.
San Diego's nice. San Diego's pretty.
I was there for a week at a conference last year, just before COVID hit. And then it was like, what are people wearing masks in the airport for? And then like I landed like a week ago, a year ago, and then all of a sudden, boom, everything got shut down.
Fun.
One of my cousins was actually.
There we go.
Yeah. Disney win again.
All right, it's 12 o'clock. Let's call the meeting to order. Call roll, please, Brenda.
Working.
Ben's going to be tuning in Zoom about 15 minutes late.
Okay. Black.
Here.
Blair.
Here.
Randy.
Here.
Heck.
Here.
Larson.
Here.
Phelps.
Here.
Great, you've got a quorum.
Thank you. Approval of the minutes from February 9th meeting, 2021.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Call roll.
You don't need to call it for minutes, just money.
That cost us money. Bills and communication.
You need to ask all in favor and all opposed.
All in
No.
favor, all opposed?
Aye.
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 For which one?
Yes.
All right. Bills and communications. Review of accounts payable, February 16th.
By the way, Carla is at a webinar right now that's talking about the new act that was passed and signed a few days ago. So she's not available for us today.
All right. How about for March 2nd? Everybody, any questions?
None.
Okay. Reports, delinquent update.
None?
Financial reports, February 2021.
Do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions.
Nope. Okay.
Directors' reports, February 2021.
Any questions?
Unfinished business, none.
Any questions?
Why isn't there any? No. New business, request of additional forgivable loan program.
I'm going to read the entire report because it explains what happened and what led to this and what led to the request. Okay? All I have to do is find where it is.
The very last page.
Yep.
The EDA approved forgivable loans and recommended county grants on February 9. The director informed all applicants about the awards and recommendations on February 10. On February 11, the director participated in a meeting at the county where the county grants were hardlined into a recommendation for county board approval, which occurred on February 16th, 4 weeks ago. Subsequently, the director received calls expressing disappointment about the EDA decisions. In most instances, the director was able to explain the decision to the disappointed applicant, but in one instance, however, the applicant disputed the rationale and raised an issue appropriate, I'm trying to look through the microphone, and an issue appropriate for review and discussion by the EDA because of the policy issue involved. On February 12th, the VFW called to contest the decision and ask for additional funds. The VFW applied for the county grant and was recommended for $2,000, the same as other social organizations. The VFW did not apply for the forgivable loan. Only one of the social organizations applied for the forgivable loan and was approved for a loan. According to the VFW, the organization did not want to take on a loan because of the repayment requirements. The VFW also said that it stated on its county application that it had not received any state dollars, which, in its opinion, should have increased the recommendation for a county grant. The VFW wanted to ask the county board to change the grant award. This was happening on the Friday before the county board acted. The director asked for a meeting of the loan committee to discuss whether additional funds should be allocated for the VFW and possibly other service organizations with restaurants. State had classified such businesses as service organizations and did not include them in the direct grants to restaurants approved by the state legislation approved in December. On February 12, after talking with the director, the VFW contacted the Minnesota Department of Revenue about the restaurant grants and was informed it would not be eligible for the restaurant grants. The director said he would discuss the issue and alternative solutions with the EDA. Director asked for a meeting of the loan committee, which took place on February 18, to discuss the issue and decide on a course of action. There was considerable discussion, both via email and in person at the meeting. Remember, this loan committee is not a quorum, does not fulfill the quorum requirements. So the discussion occurred within the loan committee members. Loan committee considered whether there should be a new program for businesses, and if so, what should be the form of the program and the source of funds. The committee decided that there should not be a new program created at this time for several reasons. Businesses that failed to apply or even ask questions about an ongoing program should not be rewarded at a later date when the anticipated grant fell short of expectations. Ironically, this is why the EDA wanted to have the forgivable loan program follow the county grant program so businesses could make an informed decision about whether to apply for the forgivable loan program depending upon the amount of the county grant. But rapid action was sought, so that option was precluded. In addition, the identical source of dollars was the IRP fund, which had been used for the previously approved EDA COVID loans and is now nearing the end of available resources. There was strong reluctance to ask the City Council for additional funding. There was also strong reluctance to use EDA funds for a forgivable loan unless the use of the funds would support capital investment and jobs for a new or expanding industry. The members of the loan committee were sympathetic with the plight of the affected businesses, but were opposed to open a new program for a small group of businesses. The loan committee also pointed out the businesses should apply and ask questions. Failure to do so does not mandate the creation of a new program. If the EDA should, however, decide it appropriate to approve the new program, the committee said the program should use the same standards for the forgivable loan program that was previously approved, that there should be a short application window, and that the program should be open to businesses that meet the standards established for the program, rather than focusing on a small class of businesses, specifically 501c19 businesses that have restaurants. And the recommendation of the loan committee was disapproval of an additional forgivable loan program at this time for the reasons noted above.
I got one question. It's stated in here that they did not apply for forgivable loan due to the repayment. And maybe you don't know, but did they talk to you at all? Were they within the understanding that it was going to be forgiven through the process of so many years or whatnot?
And that's how it was labeled even.
Right. I mean, it was. I don't know. Did they not understand that they didn't apply for that, or did they not? And
if you remember correctly, there were certain parameters to make that a forgivable loan.
Yep.
I mean, it was pretty cut and dry.
I think it was too. So I was just curious of why, if they had mentioned anything to you, Paul, of going more in depth of why they didn't apply for that program.
Because it was labeled as a loan, even as a forgivable loan, it was labeled as a loan, is my understanding. And when I explained on the telephone call on the 12th what a forgivable loan meant, they thought, well, maybe they should have applied.
So they didn't, in my guess, they saw that it said loan on the top and they didn't even bother to look at the rest of the document.
I think that's a fair statement.
And/or call and ask questions.
Call and ask questions.
And we were required to make this a forgivable loan. That was never in question throughout the creation of this funding.
Correct.
Right.
So this wasn't at someone's choice that it went this route. It was this or nothing.
Actually, the city council provided the money, and the requirements, as I recall from our city attorney, was that there could be no restrictions, but the city council expressed its strong interest in having a forgivable loan program. The EDA agreed with that and created a forgivable loan program. I mean, if somebody wants to pay back a loan, they're always entitled to do that, but it is a forgivable loan program. The consequence of that is that we have to have W-9s from each of the businesses, because it has to be reported on 1099 forms, because it is something that IRS will be dealing with in the future.
No different than the PPP.
That's right. Yeah. No different than the CARES Act dollars.
Yep. Well, and in my opinion here, there's chains of emails about this. I do feel bad for these individuals. But at the same time, we did the best we could do with time constraints. We took everything into consideration. Not everything was going to end up perfect, no matter which way a person went. And that is part of life and our business.
And we used the best knowledge that we had at that time. I think everyone thought they would qualify for the restaurant dollars, and that didn't happen.
That's where the game changer was.
That's it, yep.
But we had to go on what information we had to as a committee and a board.
Mm-hmm.
And we were getting pressure to act.
Well, and we were pressuring ourselves also.
Yep. We wanted to get the money out there, and unfortunately with doing that, not everything is always perfect. And even with lots of time, not everything is always perfect.
That is correct.
I agree with Josh. I mean, I think I feel bad that, we couldn't get more money to some organizations as well either, but when we did have other programs that we made the information available, and how it was going to work, and it was out there for everybody to know. That's not our fault if somebody didn't dig into it, and maybe they did and they made a different decision. We don't know that. I think the fault lies upon what the state level did with money for entities like this,
Correct.
which we can't change that.
We don't write the laws.
I think they left out a whole group there that was suffering with restaurants as well, but unfortunately for us, we can't reopen programs and whatnot either. We don't have an open checkbook, where I think we did the best that we could.
It has to do with the way a business applied for its licensing on the state level, and it was classified at the time of licensing, and that's how the state treated it. The other thing is the EDA left the door open in case the city council should voluntarily wish to create a new program, but the EDA funds, concerned about the long-term impact upon the EDA funds, the loan committee said that they don't wish to proceed with that at this point in time.
Do we need a motion for that?
I would ask for a motion to approve the new loan program, and then you can vote in favor of a new loan program or against. The problem is if you have a tie when you have a motion to against, that leaves question whether it was actually approved. So if you do a motion to approve and it should tie, if it should tie, which is not likely, but if it should tie, then it goes down as a defeat.
But we don't need a motion for the recommendation?
I would suggest a motion to approve the new loan program.
And
Okay?
then we'll vote it down.
And then you vote it
Right.
down. But that's based upon the recommendation of the loan committee, is that you be voting it down based upon the recommendation. So you'd be putting what the recommendation is in a way that it means that a tie vote would not approve it.
I'm just curious of why we even need to make the motion for a new program when we're not even looking at one.
It's to put it on record.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would make that motion then, Paul. And if somebody else will second, then we can vote.
I will second it.
Okay, so now we call roll.
Please.
Brenda, are you clear on the motion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Larson,
No.
Black,
No.
Blair,
No.
Grindy,
No.
Heck,
No.
Helms,
No. Mr. Horkin is online.
No.
Okay.
No.
Thanks, Ben. All right, that puts that topic to bed. Motion to adjourn.
No, sir, please. I'd like to read a letter into the record. The letter is from Steve Emery, who is consulting city engineer for the city, and it has to do with a summer construction project. I sent this letter
Yep.
to the businesses a few days ago. Steve and I worked on this letter, the wording of the letter, to stress certain things. And this is just so that it's on the record and everybody's visible on here too and what's going on. So this is from Steve. As I believe most of you are already aware, the City of East Grand Forks is currently advertising for bids for a project on Demers Avenue and 4th Street Northwest, which is Business Highway 2, for this upcoming summer. The scope of work on Demers Avenue shall include the following major items of work: mill and overlay of the bituminous pavement for the Sorley Bridge to flood wall, removal of stamped concrete crosswalks from Sorley Bridge to 4th Street Northwest, and replacement of with regular concrete pavement and then striping of the crosswalks. Scope of work on 4th Street Northwest shall include the following major items of work: mill and overlay of bituminous pavement on 4th Street for approximately 75 feet south of Demers Avenue, replacement of existing concrete sidewalk and brick pavers on the west side of 4th Street Northwest from Demers Avenue to 3rd Street Northwest. The project is currently scheduled to be bid on April 6, 2021, with the project being considered for award by the EGF City Council on April 20, 2021. For project completion, we have set a date of August 15, 2021, which shall allow the contractors some flexibility with their schedules on when they can complete the work, and in turn shall provide for competitive bids. We are estimating the entire project will take approximately 3 to 4 weeks to complete from start to finish. So it's a short project. We are aware that COVID-19 has imposed financial challenges to all businesses, and we have taken that into consideration with the planning of the project. To minimize the disruption to traffic downtown, the project will be completed in phases to keep portions of Demers Avenue open at all times, while also keeping at least 2 of the streets, River Street, 2nd Street, 3rd Street, and/or 4th Street, open at all times. The bituminous and concrete work between Sorley Bridge and the flood wall will require the closure of the Sorley Bridge up to 7 to 10 calendar days. We will require that period of time to include only 1 weekend. The bridge will remain open at all times for pedestrian traffic. To shorten the time of the closures, we have included in the project for construction to provide a high early strength concrete, which will minimize the time from when the concrete is placed until the roadway can be reopened for traffic. If favorable bids are received and the City Council awards the project, we will work closely with the contractor to determine an exact project schedule, and will keep you informed through the entire process. And thank you for your patience and understanding. If you have any questions, please feel free to give Steve a call at 218-773-5626 or an email at steve.emery@widseth.com, or you can contact Paul Gordy, that's me, at 218-773-8939, or also by email at pgordy@egf.mn. So, any questions on the EDA?
So if we're going to just sum that up, there's going to be a construction project and the bridge is going to be closed 1 day downtown this summer?
No, up to 10 days, but only 1 weekend, Ron.
Thank you.
Any other questions, discussions?
I just want to thank Paul for being involved in this and helping our businesses, because it is poor timing that this would be happening the year after they were closed for the summer last year. But if they can minimize this as best they can, I think that's all we can ask them to do.
Steve and I have had some interesting conversations.
I can imagine.
Okay. And I keep pushing to do one side and keep 2 lanes open, and that's not always the most efficient way to do the project either. So we're going to do our best to make sure that the impact upon the businesses is as small as possible.
I can see that isn't going to work very well, because they're kind of a similar project over on the other side of the river on North 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, theirs is more substantial.
Have they talked at all about if there's a potential to delay it a season?
Because from what I understand, because of funding with the federal government and everything, that if we delay it here as a city, we lose the funds, and then it'd be all required by the city to pay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, no.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
This is a state of Minnesota project too, isn't it? That's been planned
Yes.
for a few years. So it's not like it was planned just to do it this summer.
Correct.
It's just bad timing. There's never a good time to shut that bridge down, though. There's never a good time.
No. If we can keep it down to 1 weekend, the impact
big.
is minimal.
That'll
Okay.
be big.
Yep.
And Steve and I talked quite a bit about that, about 1 weekend. And that's why we stressed it in the letter, too, is 1
So
weekend.
he'll be sweating bullets too.
Oh, I'm sure he will be if it
He's
takes.
just really hoping it doesn't rain after the day after
Murphy's Law.
That's
Yeah.
right. Oh.
Any other discussion? Good. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We're done.
Boom, bada boom.